Change. The word alone can be challenging. How do we get started? Where will the change lead? Don't sit there and worry about it. Be the change. Welcome to Be the Change Radio. Host Kristina Bloom has been a professional psychic and spiritual advisor for 20 years, offering psychic and mediumship readings for individuals and groups. She also teaches several classes in psychic development and metaphysics. In addition, she is an author who has published 2 books so far and is the co-owner of Moonbow Publications and Productions, LLC. Are you ready for that change now? Here is your host of Be the Change Radio, Kristina Bloom.
Hey everybody, welcome. You are listening to Be the Change on WLTK-DB Paranormal Talk Radio. Thank you for being with us. I'm your host, Kristina Bloom, and I've got a great show coming up for you on mindset. How we think really does influence the quality of our lives. Before that, though, I have some announcements. Let me see. This Thursday, January 3rd at 7:30, I will be teaching trance channeling on Zoom. You can find all of my events that I'm going to on meetup.com/onespiritconnection/events/calendar. And that's where all of these, you will be able to find all of the details on every event that I'm doing. But I've got the trance channeling coming up this Thursday. On Saturday, I will be at the Center for Living Well in Iola, Wisconsin at the Northwoods Expo. On January 18th, I will be teaching psychic reading class on Zoom, so you won't want to miss that. Make sure that you get on the website and check that out. Oh, wow. January 22nd, it's a Saturday. I will be in Poynette at the Holistic Healing and Angel Academy Learning Center. On January 29th, I will be hosting an online psychic gallery reading on Zoom. All of the information, again, is on the meetup page. You can get the tickets by going to the event in the calendar. Click on the event, and in the description of the event, you will find a link to the tickets for the class or event that you wanted to attend. One more announcement, and this is kind of a big one I'm super excited about. Brian Kopic and I, April 21st through the 24th, will be co-facilitating a retreat called Deeper Awakening to Eliminate Your Limits. And we're going to bring together his coaching. He is a fitness coach for the Gen X generation. That's what he likes to focus on. And I am a spiritual advisor. So I will be bringing in my part of that too. And the two of us together have an amazing program put together. A vegetarian weekend. He and I are both doing the cooking. It's going to be a great time. So make sure that you contact me about info for that. I'm having a little trouble with the technology and getting that up and running, but I'll get there. All right. So again, tonight's topic is mindset. How we think about ourselves, how we think about our lives, our health, our success, it's all determined to a large degree by our mindset. What are we thinking about? How are we processing information? Then you bring the heart set into it. Where the mind and the heart are working together, that's where you're going to have optimal results in anything that you're looking for. And just another little plug for myself here. I recently co-authored a book with David Poole and several other mindset and heart set coaches and facilitators, practitioners. It's called Heart Set, Your Key to a Limitless Mindset. It goes on sale on Wednesday on Amazon. So make sure that you go to Amazon Wednesday and get your copy. That would really help us out in reaching the numbers we want to reach. Tonight, however, we are going to be talking with another mindset coach. Her name is Krysti Turznik, and she is the author of Mindset Magic, Using Scientific Principles to Create Your Life. And I have to open up my phone here to get the information that I'm looking for. Krysti is just amazing. She's got over 20 years of experience as a spiritual mindset coach, helping unfulfilled professional leaders to ditch the burnout and discontent and live a divinely guided life so they can discover success on their terms, fulfill their life's purpose, and make an impact doing what they love to do as they step into their highest potential. She teaches people how to leverage scientific and spiritual principles that respond to their mindset, overcome self-sabotage, and harness the innate power so that they can create a life they don't need to escape from. Wow, this sounds really good to me. And she has a #1 best-selling book, Mindset Magic, using scientific and spiritual principles to create your life. And that book has been endorsed by none other than Michael Bernard Beckwith. And if you don't know who that is, look it up. All right. She holds a master's degree in metaphysics, a bachelor's degree in science and biology. She's an ordained minister, a consulting hypnotist, and I'm going to try this, Ho'oponopono practitioner. Please welcome my guest, Krysti Turznik.
Hey, Kristina, I'm so excited to talk with you.
Excited to talk with you too. Did you tell me recently that you had a new, I'm sorry, I lost my notes, but you had a new something coming up, like a new book, a new program, something?
I have a new program that's coming out. It hasn't been announced yet, so you're getting the sneak peek of,
Awesome.
of what's coming. Yeah, but it's going to be a 6-month membership program, so I can, help support more people to really connect with who it is that they divinely are meant to be, and like you said, live their highest potential. So it's going to be great.
That sounds awesome. I can't wait to check that out. How did you specifically get involved in mindset coaching? I mean, there's coaching covers a pretty broad area, but you really focused in on mindset.
Yeah, my journey, like everyone else's, began in ways that I didn't anticipate. So for me, it was back when I was 17 years old, I was diagnosed with a heart condition. And, the doctors had said that I'm going to be on lifelong medication. And, for several years, I had accepted that as my reality. And after a while, I realized that I was not happy. Like I knew that I wasn't going to be able to fulfill the things that I felt called to do. And so I started really understanding and like working on more of the emotional reasons for why this may have manifested into my life. And what I found fascinating was as I started to deal with my mindset, as I started to, heal those wounds, those core wounds, I was able to actually heal the medical condition. And it really taught me that our mindset is so very powerful, that there's a strong mind-body connection. And really that we are tremendously powerful creators in our own life. So that personal experience helped to, propel me onto this path of really understanding more of like, how is this working? Like, first of all, biologically, like, how is that possible? But also like, how is the body like teaching us, those deeper spiritual lessons, so it's really just an evolution of what I have learned from my own experience and working with other people to really, come to this place where it's, the spiritual mindset coaching.
That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. I know you're right. We all have a journey getting here. Mm-hmm. And I don't know anyone who works in our field, our general broad field, who hasn't had a rough time getting there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, never a straight line.
Never a straight line. And I really don't know anyone who's had an easy life getting there. So when we put ourselves out there and say, I can help you because I've done it, mm-hmm. I think sometimes I don't know if people believe us, because they look at where we are now. They didn't see where we came from.
Yep.
And so do you ever run into that in your practice where people are like, well, that's fine for you, but I've got blah, 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 blah.
I really don't encounter that a whole lot anymore, because what I have learned is by sharing my story, like people can see themselves in the words and the experiences that I have. It's of course going to be different, but they can resonate with a lot of the same underlying themes, so it really, when I share, it gives them permission to do that own introspection and say, this is an area where I feel like I can kind of tweak a little bit or improve, or I wonder how things would be different if I, just shifted 2% of, how I'm viewing this thing. Right. And then, right. Tremendous things open up from that point.
I love that. And I love the way that you communicate that, because you communicate spiritual growth and mindset growth, but you do it in a way that most people think, okay, I can do 2%, or, it's very concrete the way that you, am I saying that right? The way that you present it is very down to earth.
Yeah.
And I think people respond very well to that.
I think so too, because from my experience, like I'm a very analytical person. Like I have a degree in biology, so I'm like hardcore facts, right? Like show me the proof of things, and so that really informs how I interact with other people. It's like this is the physical reality of why what I'm saying has merit, but then it's also adding that next layer into things of, yes, there's this physical thing, but there's also that unseen aspect that we can't ignore, but you can't see either, so
Right.
it makes it more tangible, bringing the unseen into the tangibility.
I love that. So walk me through, I know I've read your book. I know I have your book.
Mm-hmm.
I could not find your book. I wanted to be able to have it on the show. And I'm trying to remember, because there were some key things that I highlighted.
Right here.
Yeah, but my copy has my highlights in it.
Yeah, right.
So I was trying to remember, but there were some activities that you had in that book. That was, what is one of the basic activities that you would walk someone through that they could get by reading the book?
Yeah, that's a great question. One of the main things that someone can do when they're really just starting out on this path, or even if they're more experienced in this, is really just taking like a day to silently and without judgment, just observe what kind of thoughts you're thinking, and you'll have an overall sense of the predominant mindset that you're holding. And then once you have that understanding, then you're able to really decide if those thoughts and beliefs, if they're serving you, right? If they're helping you to reach your goals, or if there's something that you need to shift or release, and let go. And then after you have that insight, it's really just about connecting with that deeper part of yourself, and just taking yourself to that place where you're stepping back from the outside world, just taking a deep breath, letting yourself relax just a little bit, like the way that I tell a lot of people to get into that space where you can really start to make some of those deeper changes are like, imagine that you've just come home from a day at work and you're really tired, like it's just been an exhausting day, and maybe you turn on the radio, or you just do something, turn on some music just to help you relax and unwind, or maybe you just plop down on the couch, you close your eyes a little bit, and you just let yourself just kind of relax, and then before you know it, you open up your eyes and you think maybe 5 minutes has gone by, and like 20 minutes has gone by. Right. Well, that's the state of mind that you need to be able to get yourself in order to make any kind of changes within the subconscious. So it's not very difficult for us to get ourselves into that place where we can start to make those significant changes. And it's really just giving yourself that permission to consciously direct your mind, just saying, this is what my intention is, and this is what I'm going to be doing, and these are the new thoughts that I want to welcome into my world.
I love that. Now, how does that work with, going to the more esoteric side of being in alignment and being in flow, and how does that get you there?
Yeah, the way to really understand that is certainly everything is energy, and the body is an expression of that energy. So when you have an idea or a thought that you're thinking, the subconscious mind is really like a filter of all of those thoughts. It's sending out that vibration and that energetic frequency, which is looking out into the universe, into the world, and finding all of those things that are meeting and matching that vibration, right? That expectation. And then it is bringing those things to you. It is collapsing all of those experiences, those opportunities that are not in coherence with what it is that you want for yourself. And so you are then able to become aware of what is coming to you in your environment, and recognize that those are the things that are going to be helping you to move towards your goal. So it's really just the understanding that the physical body that we have, the mind that we have, it's all a tool that we can use to draw into ourselves, and into our lives what it it is that we really want to be bringing into our world, because we're connected literally to every possibility that there is. It's just our thoughts are deciding what's available to us in every moment.
Right. And as humans, we well, I'm not going to say all of us, but a lot of us don't seem to have the capacity to think beyond our limited scope. You know what I mean? It's kind of that. This is the way it's always been. It's the way it's always going to be. And I see that changing. I see that changing a lot, actually, with this ascension that we're going through and all of that. Are you seeing more people coming to you already where you used to have to get them to?
Absolutely. Yeah. So what I am noticing most predominantly is there is less fear, so much less fear of themselves, really, of like, oh, I'm afraid to kind of go in, but within to myself, because what am I going to find? Or I don't feel powerful enough, or I don't know how. A lot of people that I'm now seeing are reaching out for the support, have that understanding that they're meant for so much more than what they've been doing. And they're really just allowing themselves to explore opportunities so that they can reconnect to that. So they have really taken that biggest leap, that biggest step, that's going to be able to move them towards what it is that they want, because they've gotten over that initial resistance, right? Like they've started that ball rolling right away.
Yeah, I've noticed that too in my practice, where people are coming to me and they've already gotten past the I'm afraid of what I'm going to hear, or I'm afraid of what I'm going to find out. And they're like, bring it on. I got to deal with this stuff. I have to move forward with this. I have things to do. And it's like they have this urgency.
Yeah.
Like the human race is now developing more urgency. Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely. And I think too that, and I don't know if this is the case for you, but a lot of people that are coming, for my services, they're more like in middle age, I guess, where they feel like time is starting to tick a little bit.
Yeah.
They recognize that, the life that we're living, it's not going to be going on forever in this form. So we better get down to business and do what we're called to do right here, because we don't know, how much time we have.
I have noticed that too. And I've also noticed with the younger people, with the 20s, 30s, they're already where we had to work to get to.
Yeah.
They're already there. Like, they came in there. And so, for us to be able to catch up, it's important, the work that you do, and the mindset is super important. The law of attraction, working with all of that. And we have so much that we could do on this planet that we've chosen not to. And I'm just seeing it unfold, where people are really stepping into themselves, women in particular, but not just women. I am seeing a lot of women in their 50s and approaching 60 walking away from 20, 30, 40-year careers and going, it's not what I came here to do.
Yep. Absolutely.
Really embracing what they came here to do. And I really wish I could have found your book, because there were excerpts that I wanted to refer to. So I'm trying to remember them. And there was a part where, when you were talking about observing your mind, like you mentioned before, I know I have some clients who have said that they have difficulty doing that. Like they don't understand what that means.
Yeah.
So, I know how I would explain it, but I want to hear how you would explain it to someone who says they don't know what that means. They don't know how to listen to their own voice.
Yeah, sometimes there is a little bit of resistance or uncertainty with with that voice that we have in our head, but we're always talking to ourselves. And the way to kind of get around that is, if you feel like you can't understand or you're not aware of what it is that you're thinking, just tune into how you're feeling, because that's a direct reflection of what it is that you're feeling or what you're thinking. And so if you're happy with how you're feeling, if it feels good, if you're excited about life and the opportunities and experiences that you have, great. Keep doing more of what you're doing. If things feel off, If you notice that tension or that constriction, like really start to open yourself to considering where in your life things might need a little bit more love and time and attention. And as you start to focus on those areas, you're going to have more ideas of what needs to shift or how you're showing up in those certain areas.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. That's so easy for a lot of people to go, okay, well, I know how I feel, but to keep track of all these thoughts that never stop, that's a lot. And that's really the people who are overthinkers or the people whose brains just never stop. Those are the ones who come to me and say, I don't know how to do that. I can't keep track of it all. There's too much. I understand that. I used to be that way. And it took years of retraining my brain to be able to not have racing thoughts all the time.
Yeah.
But trying to explain to someone else how to do that, that can be a little tricky, like how do you slow your brain down? I say breathe, I say meditate, I say there are so many things, there are so many tools available. You don't have to go to a yoga class. You can breathe without doing that,
Yeah.
Not that I'm putting down yoga classes. I love yoga, but some people don't, and they're afraid of it, or they're not, they're like, no, I'm not built for yoga or whatever. And that's fine.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like there are so many different tools. You really need to find the one that works for you rather than trying to force yourself into something that just doesn't feel right. Just try a whole bunch out and figure out which one works best with how you're wired, right? Like you need to just understand yourself and then find the things that are going to be able to help you to express yourself more fully.
Yeah, I agree. And we're going to pick up there when we come back because we're going to take a break and we'll be right back with Krysti Turznik.
Looking to launch your new masterpiece? Then try something new with Moonbow Publishing and Production. At Moonbow, we have a strong desire to serve authors in a powerful and meaningful way. After all, you poured your heart and soul into your writing, and we fully understand and respect that. Remember this: you will own the copyright to your work. You will have the final say on your work before being published. Even after all of that, we've saved the best for last. We won't take a percentage sold. Nope, not a penny. Excited about MoonbowPublications.com yet? We thought so. Take advantage of our company's services like book editing, formatting, and covers, publishing, and photography. Moonbow Publishing and Productions has everything you are looking for in a company. Remember, we will not keep any commissions. We are a boutique publishing company focusing on spiritual, health and wellness, and personal growth genres. Moonbow Publications and Productions, a new kind of publishing company.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. It is 24 minutes past the hour. I'm Kristina Bloom, and you're listening to Be the Change Radio on WLTK-DB.com. I'm here with mindset coach Krysti Turznik, and we have been discussing how to adjust your mindset, basically. I mean, that's what it boils down to, is how do you adjust your mindset to reach the potential that you want to reach, whether you want a happier relationship, a healthier body, more money, a better job, whatever it is. How do you shift your mindset to get there? And that's what we're discussing today with Krysti. So when you talk about how you used mindset to heal your heart so that you could move forward in life and fulfill what you felt was your purpose, and I'm sure still feel is your purpose, and how was that journey for you? And I think I'm getting a little more specific than maybe you're comfortable with, and if I am, that's fine, tell me to back off. But how did that work for you? Walk us through the process, because I feel like there are a lot of people, especially now, who are dealing with mystery illnesses. you know, where there's a lot of the general word of autoimmune thrown around, but that's a big umbrella that covers a lot of different things. But we have a lot of people in physical pain who want to move forward, who want to be able to fulfill their purpose. Can you tell us how you did it? I mean, I know it's getting deep. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I love going deep. So this is really great. So so the modality that helped me to discover and, you know, like just figure out what was going on was hypnosis, just a lot of self-hypnosis and working with a mentor to teach me how to do my own self-hypnosis. And what I had discovered, just to go straight to the core of everything, is that the heart condition that I had manifested was a direct correlation to the heart condition that my estranged father also had. And it was a way that I was able to create a bond between each other when I didn't have one with him. And so by allowing myself to feel important and loved by having this heart condition, right? Like, because when you're sick, people pay attention to you. So I had taught myself in a, you know, just uneducated way of, you know, by being ill, it was a way that I could get my needs met, that other people could demonstrate that I really mattered, that like it was important that I was alive. And so when I understood that I could meet that need in a healthier way, in a, you know, way that wasn't going to physically harm me, then I was able to start having different choices. I could choose behaviors and different beliefs that allowed me to still meet that need of feeling loved and valued and important, just in a healthier way. And so as I started to heal, you know, those wounds of really abandonment and not feeling good enough, or all of the enoughs, you know, that we all have, you know, just from our childhood, it helped me to really embrace the fact that I do have a strong heart, and metaphorically and physically, right? Like, this is what I'm here to do, is really just to help people to understand how loved that we each are. And it's just our journey that, you know, teaches us all of these things that we have, you know, no matter if it's a physical condition, and no matter if it's a situation that you have with, you know, someone in your family that is dealing with their own things, and it's a direct reflection of how you're showing up and, you know, what you need to be shifting or healing. But the life, like the physical life, is a beautiful metaphor for how we're viewing ourselves in the, you know, the deeper spiritual aspect.
Right. That's an amazing story. It's an amazing story. I had my own journey. Mine was with cancer. So what I did was they didn't call it self-hypnosis when I was doing it. And that's a stupid thing to say. All right. It wasn't like self-hypnosis didn't exist. The people I was dealing with didn't use that modality.
Yeah.
But they did use visualization.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was able to visualize where it was gone, like visualize the organ healthy. And was that part of yours too, where you visualized your heart healthy and whole the way it was supposed to be?
You know, that I didn't visualize my heart like in healing itself, but what I did was I remember sending it lots of love. You know,
Okay.
just like filling my body with, you know, beautiful healing light and things like that, as opposed to like trying to repair all the different parts of the heart that needed to be adjusted. You know, just I went big and let my body do what it needed to do.
And I went in there and did like psychic surgery on myself. So
Yeah, any way works, right?
right. And I think that's the point I'm trying to make, is that there's so many different ways that work, but it all boils down to believing you can do it, believing it can happen, having that mindset that anything is possible.
Anything is possible. And here's the thing too, like, you don't have to completely believe it, right? Like, you just have to have a little small amount of faith or belief that something different can be possible for you. And that's all that it takes, because my journey for healing, I think it took about 1.5 years or so from, you know, when I decided, like, I had that moment when I just knew that I couldn't go on with things the way that they were, until like I was off of the medication, living the life that I wanted to, you know. So just those small incremental changes are really what will make the changes for you. So you don't have to take that big leap from where you are now to where you want to be. It'll get there.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Sometimes that quantum leap, not everyone can do that.
Yeah.
The baby steps along the way are much more easy to navigate, I think, for most people. When you're coming into mindset. And I know mindset is, there's a lot of different ways to get there. Meditation has been my favorite way to get there, to be able to meditate and just really kind of just watch. I don't want to say stop thinking. I don't know anyone who totally stops thinking, although I've heard of people who do, but just watching the thoughts go by, but not grabbing onto them and playing with them, I think is important when you're trying to shift a mindset.
Absolutely. Yeah. Not having that attachment to, like, when you're in that space of, that inward focus, just letting those thoughts just pass you by, and connecting with that deeper, that peace, right? Like that stillness that you have within yourself, because that's where our power is, right? Like that deep subconscious part, like many people believe, and I'm included in that, that subconscious is the part that's our divine connection, like that subconscious is that little piece of, of the great divine that, is part of that bigger web of things. So when you change and tap into that truth within yourself, you're really sending out that ripple in the greater expanse.
I love that. How do you help people who get stuck there? Like who get stuck? I know a lot of people say they can't meditate. Well, in my opinion, there's a lot of ways to meditate. You don't have to sit in a lotus position all day and do it. So, there's a lot of different ways to meditate. But people get stuck in the catching the thoughts, like they can't let go of the thoughts. And I don't believe that I believe it's sometimes difficult to let go of the thoughts. I don't believe it's impossible. So how do you help people who really struggle with letting go of those thoughts that keep them from shifting their mindset a little bit?
Yeah. And this is where, again, it's so important to really understand who you are, how you're wired, like how you think, right? How you behave, because some people who tend to be a little bit more analytical, they do have a little bit more difficulty with just sitting still and, like relaxing different parts of their body, or, just having their thoughts pass them by. So if that's the case, then just do something, right? Like you can have a walking meditation where you're giving yourself an action to do, which is keeping your mind busy in that aspect, where you're concentrating on right foot, left foot, whatever it is. Or if you're counting your breaths, like sometimes that's a great way, but it's really just giving yourself permission to figure out how you work, like what works best with you, and then doing that, because you will never find peace in something that doesn't feel like it's fitting, right? Like something that you have to force your way into it, which is different than needing practice on certain things,
right?
But you're gonna feel like just more drawn to certain ways of connecting within, and however it is for you that you feel called to do that, like just do more of that. Let yourself go deeper into it.
I really like that, and I advise a lot of people to walk. If they have trouble sitting still, do a walking meditation. Just focus on what you're doing, focus on what you're seeing, focus on how your body feels, focus on the ground that you're stepping on. Is it gravel? Is it sand? Is it grass? Is it blacktop? Whatever it is, focusing on what you're experiencing in the moment. And that really seems to help a lot of people be able to clear a little bit and be able to shift a little bit. And I love the 2%, because it really does not always take it's huge jump to be able to shift it. And that's amazing. Yeah. I believe that like the 2%, I believe that there's a Japanese word for it called kaizen. And it really just means like incremental change, so it's just giving yourself that permission to say, I don't have to do it all overnight, right? Like I can just make this little tiny change. And that's great. Like that's perfection. Like that's goal accomplished. And over time, it's going to be compounding. So that way you're reaching, tremendous results and the things that you want for yourself. It's great. How do you help people who come to you and say, I know I have a bigger purpose, but I don't know what it is? How do you help people find that?
Yeah, that's really just such a great question. It's all about teaching them to trust themselves, teaching them to turn within, because I believe that we all have all the answers that we're already looking for are already within ourselves.
Right.
So it's giving yourself permission to really trust the choices and the nudges and just the inner knowings that, like, you don't have to know how you know certain things, but understanding how your body and your mind and your spirit are really communicating with you. So, it's just really just giving yourself that opportunity to listen and to learn from yourself so you can actually hear what it is that you already know.
That's great. That's great. I really like the idea of listening to yourself, because when I listen to myself, I don't hear anything. It's feeling. It's what I'm feeling when I'm listening to myself. Yeah. And that's my form of self-communication. I think other people have different forms of self-communication, just like there are different forms of ways to interpret psychic messages. There are different ways to communicate with ourselves. So do you outline those for people, or do you just intuitively guide people towards whichever form of communication you feel would work for them?
As far as like how to tap into their intuition and that guidance. Yes. Yeah, you know what? Like I really just allow them to figure out how it comes, because I don't want to tell them it needs to be this way, because like you said, everyone is different.
Right.
But there are, certain markers that you can look for, when you get like that little pause of just reflection or not quite thinking that, something is what you thought, just those moments of, I'm curious about what's going on there. Or, just that, that sudden hit of, this feels a little bit off to me. Or like, I need to do that, or I need to make that call, or, whatever it is. Like you said, there are so many different ways of having that validation. But one of the easiest ways that you can tap into, like, just knowing that you're on the right path of your purpose and that bigger thing that you're here for, is really just thinking about what you can do all day long. And like, time passes very, very quickly, right? Like, because that shows that you're in your genius zone. It shows that you're doing the things that come easily for you, that are some of your greater gifts, or thinking about the things that you used to love to do when you were a child, right? When you could just play and your imagination was limitless, where you just allowed yourself to really feel and be who you were. That's really how to connect and tap back into that.
That's wonderful. I think most people can do that the way that you described it. To be able to really listen to themselves. That's awesome. I'm trying to think, there was another part of your book, and it was closer to the end of it, that I highlighted. And it was something, I really wish I could have found that book. I even cleaned my office today and could not find that book. Crazy. I guess I wasn't supposed to have it for this interview. So,
no worries.
Oh my gosh. When my brain shuts down like that, I get frustrated. And that's actually a good question. How do you help people whose brains shut down when they get frustrated?
Yeah, a really important question. And the same technique that you can use for when you're feeling frustrated, you can use when you're feeling like anxious, or people that are feeling like they're going to be having a panic attack, is similar to what you were saying earlier. It's a method called 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and it's really, you just stop what you're doing and you connect with the present moment. So you think of 5, you identify 5 things that you can see in your environment, 4 things that you can hear, 3 things that you can touch, 2 things that you can smell, and then 1 thing that you can taste. And it really helps you to ground and be in the moment. And when you have that presence, then either the thing that you were thinking about you will tend to come back into your mind right away, or if you're feeling like out of sorts, it helps you just to regulate your nervous system, so that way you can get the clarity that you need to choose again, right? To choose a different way of moving forward.
And choose a different thought, choose a different avenue, choose a different way around. So let's have some fun with this. Let's have some fun with mindset. All right. So I will give you an example, and I'm doing this off the top of my head. So if it doesn't make sense, it's all good. All right. So
All right, here we go.
all right. So I'll give you an example, and then you talk me through it as though I'm the one experiencing it. How does that sound?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Let's go with it. Mhm.
So I come to you and Kristy, I've been following this path for 20 years and I really thought it was the right one, but I feel like I'm stuck and I'm not moving forward. Am I on the wrong path?
Yeah. So two different ways that we respond to that is if you're feeling like you're off track, like listen to that, because that's validation that your soul is trying to tell you that there could be a good shift or a big shift coming up in front of you. And then the second aspect of that is tune within for that guidance, as opposed to looking for that external validation. Begin to trust yourself more and just know that if you're feeling called in a certain direction, if you feel these questions coming up, there's a reason for that. And it's an invitation for you to explore more deeply of what it is that you want for yourself, where you're out of alignment with those things that you want for yourself, and then the understanding of what you need to do in order to get yourself back into that feeling good space, so you can feel like you're doing what you're meant to be doing.
Okay. But what if I don't know what I want to do? I'm just not where I thought I would be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this is where you give yourself grace, right? Like you take a breath and say, you are where you are. You are where you are, and that's okay, right? Because everything that we have learned up until this point has brought us to this moment in time where we can decide how we want to continue to move forward. So not knowing or not having that expectation of needing to know will really help you to just be open to what it is that you want for yourself. Letting yourself just have that insight and that wisdom of knowing that I'm meant for more than the life that I've been living, and I'm open to receive that understanding as I'm moving forward. And then before long, you're going to be getting that insight.
All right, that sounds good. We're going to continue with this game when we come back, but we're going to take another quick station break. Thanks, Kristina.
Meet Nicole Strickland, one of the leading San Diego paranormal researchers. Nicole offers a gentle and humble approach to working with spirit energies. Being the founder of the San Diego Paranormal Research Society, Nicole is no stranger to the unknown. Due to Nicole's vast knowledge of the paranormal, she is widely sought after for speaking engagements on topics like Children of the Paranormal, Paranormal Investigation 101 and 102, History of Spiritualism, and more. Not only does Nicole research the afterlife, but also writes about it, and is the author of several books pertaining to the paranormal and its history. She has appeared on television shows like My Ghost Story, Travel Channel's Famously Afraid, Good Morning San Diego, and more. Have a conference or event coming up? Contact Nicole on her website, authornicolestrickland.com. That's authornicolestrickland.com.
Hey everyone, welcome back. It's 44 minutes past the hour. I am Kristina Bloom, your host of Be the Change, and today we are talking with mindset coach Krysti Turznik. Hi, Kristy. Welcome back. I've been having fun with this. I have to tell you, I've been having fun playing this game because usually people come and ask me the questions. Mm-hmm. So I've been able to ask you some questions and, pretending like I'm a client or a potential client who wants to check out your program. Can you just give us a quick rundown of how your coaching works? Like how do you start with one client and get them to where they need to be?
Yeah, that's a great question. So whenever you have a change that you want to be making, the first important thing that you need to understand is what are your goals? Like, how do you know that you're going to be successful? So when I work with a client, it's really just about really getting clear about what those specific tangible goals are that they want to achieve for themselves, and then creating actionable steps in order to achieve those. And in order to achieve all of the things that we want for ourselves, that's where the mindset and all of the inner work comes into play. So it's really a lot of self-confidence boosting, because, like, let's be honest, we can all use like a little nudge of, feeling better about ourselves.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, and it's learning a lot of how you're getting in your own way with the things that you want for yourself, because we can be our worst enemy or we can be our best advocate. So it's really just understanding how you're putting into your life limitations and blocks, so that way you can overcome them, you can eliminate them. So a lot of mindset work, a lot of healing the past, and really just making sure that all parts of you are really in alignment with the things that you want for yourself, so that there's not that inner resistance, and really just letting yourself connect with that truth of who it is that you are, knowing that you're bigger than who you had thought that you were. You're that deeper spiritual being, and letting yourself lean more into the trust and understanding of your bigger purpose, and working in tandem with the universe and the laws that are guiding the world. So it's really just understanding the science and the spirituality of how your mind works, how your mind works with the energetic and the quantum fields, and giving you all of the practical tools that will help you to put into place all of the things that are going on inside, but to bring them forth into the into the physical.
Right. And you brought up something very, very important: clarity.
Mm-hmm.
So many of us now are lacking clarity. And over the last couple of years, because the whole world's been turned upside down, we've all felt it in one way or another. And the way that I've been noticing, the way that not just myself, but other people I've talked to process information is different.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I do psychic readings, the way I receive information is different. Where it comes from feels different.
Mm-hmm.
And have you been noticing that people are just lacking clarity and just really just needing an answer? Like, I just really need some clarity. I need to be able to see where I'm going, and I need to know that my next step isn't going to take me off a cliff.
Yeah. I think what's happening is a lot of people have been so bombarded and overwhelmed and living in this state of stress and just, too much that we're trying to navigate and deal with because
Right.
of, what's going on. All of the outside voices have become so loud that we're not able to hear our own guidance and understand really what we want. So it's holding that space for saying, this is a time where you're supposed to be focusing on yourself. Like, it's okay. Like, everything else that you have, it can be there for you, when your time to focus on yourself is finished. But that clarity piece, that's so critical in order for you to actually be able to move towards a goal. Because if you don't have a tangible result that you want, like, you're not giving your subconscious a goal that it can work towards, right? Like, it's just going to be kind of trying to get there, but it's not going to be having any solidity with how it can help you to accomplish all the things that you want.
Right. All roads will take you where you're going if you don't know where that is.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
And I have really been seeing that more and more, that people just aren't as clear as they used to be, or they've worked in the same job 20, 30, 40 years, and they're just like, this isn't what I came here to do.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it is, and needing to find that clarity. And I have a lot of clients who are women, excuse me, ladies, 45 to 65 basically is and I have some younger and some older, but this age group is really just like, we did everything we were told to do. It's not working. Why? And so I have a feeling that that's where the outside voices come in. And even as so many of us have been more isolated on and off over the last couple of years, and more of us working from home, and more of us working online and communicating that way, the outside voices can sometimes even seem louder than they did when we were out with people more, you know? Why do you think that is?
I think that in the isolation that we have, just being more like, constricted and confined, we're looking for any kind of voice, like any kind of companionship. And so when someone speaks, their voice kind of echoes in our minds because we don't have enough of that, right? Like we're social creatures, right? Like we need that socialness, and when there's a lack, when we're kind of depleted from that, anytime that we get that interaction, it's going to feel so much bigger and so much more important than what it had been before, just because we're not getting enough. And so this is really where it's so important to be able to surround yourself with people who are going to be supportive and uplifting for what it is that you want. And also who can see a greater potential and possibility for you than what you can possibly see, rather than having, those people around you who are going to try to pull you back down to where they think that you need to be, that will make them feel better.
Right, right. And, that is so important. You made some really good points there. I keep forgetting who said it. I want to credit Jim Rohn, but I'm not sure it's him. We've become the sum of the 5 people we spend the most time with. And whether we are actually physically spending time with those people, or those are the people we communicate with the most, what kind of messages are we receiving, and what kind of messages are we giving? Because we're one of their 5 people too.
Yep. Exactly. Exactly.
So
yeah.
I think it's really important to pay attention to what we're putting out as well as what we're taking in.
Absolutely. And really just looking at those dynamics of the relationships that we have, and just without that criticism or judgment, like saying, are they helpful? Are they beneficial? Like, why am I involved in this relationship?
Right.
Like, is it helping me to grow? Am I helping another person to grow? And if they're not, really just giving yourself that opportunity to kind of pull back if you need to, so you can give your time and attention to other places that are going to serve you better.
Absolutely. Krysti, it has been an absolute pleasure having you on our show tonight. I end this show with a guided meditation. So I am going to go ahead and start the guided meditation. I invite you to partake of it and just relax and enjoy the rest of your evening once we are off air again, and you can just go.
Love it.
All right. I'm going to go with my old standard, because I just feel like grounding and connecting to the universe right now is so important. So as long as you're not driving, cooking, or otherwise doing something dangerous, you just feel free to sit back and close your eyes. Just take a few deep but comfortable breaths. Breathing into your tummy, because that helps to relax you more. Where breathing into your chest causes muscle tightness. So breathe into your tummy and exhale through your mouth. The next time that you exhale, visualize roots growing from the bottoms of your feet down through the floor into the earth below the building, growing down through the layers of earth, through the sand, the soil, and the rock, all the way down to the center of the planet, where your roots will enter into a crystal cavern. All of the crystals in this cavern have words etched on them. Allow your roots to grow and expand, to wrap around the crystals with the following words: peace, harmony, love, joy, health, balance, compassion, gratitude, abundance. Leaving your roots wrapped around the crystals, draw energy from the crystals up your roots. See or feel the energy as it moves up through the layers of earth, up through the floor and entering your body at the soles of your feet. Feel the grounding earth energy as it moves up your legs and stops at the root chakra. Focus the energy to the root chakra until you can see it glowing brightly in red, or until you feel the chakra open. Now feel the energy as it moves up to your sacral chakra, focusing the energy there until you can see it glowing brightly in orange, or until you feel the chakra open. And again, feel the energy continue to rise up into your solar plexus, focusing the energy there until you can see it glowing brightly in yellow, or until you feel the chakra open. And now feel the energy as it continues to rise up into your heart chakra, focusing the energy there until you can see it glowing brightly in green, or until you feel the chakra open. And again, feel the energy as it continues to rise up into your throat chakra, focusing the energy there until you can see it glowing brightly in blue, or until you feel the chakra open. And again, feel the energy as it continues to rise up into your third eye chakra, focusing the energy there until you can see it glowing brightly in indigo, or until you feel the chakra open. Finally, feel the energy as it rises to the top of your head to the crown chakra, focusing the energy there until you can see it glowing brightly in violet, or until you feel the chakra open. Now visualize a beam of light going through all 7 chakras, connecting each to the next. Focus on that beam of light until it becomes bright and strong. When the light has become bright and strong, move your consciousness into it. Become the light. Leaving your body where it is to rest and rejuvenate as the beam of light rise up through your crown chakra, up through the ceiling, the roof, and out into the sky as you begin your journey, moving past the Earth's atmosphere and into the galaxy, passing the planets and the stars as you continue your journey, moving out into the universe and continuing your journey all the way to the edge of the universe. As you pass the edge of the universe, you will enter the place of pure divine creation. Allow your light to disperse and become one with the creative energies of the divine universe. Take a moment now to set your intentions for the rest of the week. When you have set your intentions, draw your beam of light back together, bringing with it the shared knowledge and wisdom of the divine creative universe. When your beam of light has been completely reassembled, leaving an etheric thread, begin the journey back to your body, through deep space, moving through the Milky Way galaxy, down through Earth's atmosphere, the sky, the roof, the ceiling, and re-entering your body at the crown chakra. Feel the divine, loving light of the universe as it moves through and fills you. allowing some of that energy to move down your roots to re-energize the crystals that support our planet. This is where we will spend the rest of our evening and the rest of our week, perfectly balanced between heaven and earth. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. Namaste, and have a wonderful evening.